happening. To talk more about what's happening, we're joined by Gino Victoria Doabi. She's a political scientist originally from Iran. Thank you very much indeed for being with us, Gino. So what is the latest information that you have about what is happening in Abdanan and Malekshahir?
Thank you for having me. So as you said, the latest news is that the two Kurdish cities were out in protesting massive against the regime, chanting direct slogans against the system and Khamenei and the fall of the Islamic Republic. And the people were actually successful in taking control of the cities from the Iranian regime security forces. This is something that the Kurds often express symbolically by taking the regime offices' chairs and sitting on them and taking photos and showing them to the whole world. Also today, unfortunately, a large number of security forces have been deployed to these Kurdish areas. And this is a pattern that we see, especially in Kurdish region, which is first to intimidate and instill fear, and second to crack down harshly on the protesters. However, what I have most recently seen and heard is that there is still presence of population in these exact cities. But what is going on is that it's a well-known tactic that the regime responds with extra brutality in Kurdish areas. And latest figures that I have had is that 20 people have been killed and 16 of them were Kurds. And this tells us something really important, that even during protests, there is a disproportionate level of discrimination against these people.
And just to be clear, are the cities of Abdanan and Malekshahir still under the control of the people, or have the security forces returned?
Unfortunately, the security forces have been deployed massively.
Okay, well, Iran's exiled former crown prince, the son of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, has made a statement, and he's called on the armed forces in Iran to lay down their weapons. Let's take a quick listen to what he had to say.
این پیامی مستقیم خطاب به نیروهای مسلح و امنیتی ایران است. شما که لباس نظامی بر تن کرده اید تا از ملت ایران دفاع کنید و اینک در معرض یک انتخاب تاریخی قرار دارید. در روزهایی که مردم شجاع و متحد ایران در حال ساختن و نوشتن تاریخ هستند، پرسش من از شما این است که در کدام سوی تاریخ خواهید ایستاد؟ در کنار جنایتکاران یا در کنار مردم؟ در این لحظه های سرنوشت ساز از شما انتظار دارم که به آغوش ملت بازگردید و سلاح خود را نه برای شلیک به مردم که برای حفاظت از آنها به کار گیرید.
So a direct call there from Reza Pahlavi for the security forces to lay down their weapons and protect the protesters rather than attack them. What do you make of those comments, Gino? And what do you make of the prospect of Pahlavi as some sort of transitional or interim leader in Iran if the regime falls?
Yes. So first, I hear that he says that IRGC has vowed to protect the nation, which is actually not true. IRGC has vowed to protect the regime from both within and outsiders that is a threat to the Islamic Republic of Iran, like this system. So that is not true. But this is not the first time that Reza Pahlavi has called on Iranian IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, to lay down their weapons and side with the people. In fact, according to himself, at least 50,000 important defectors have already signed up with him to take side with the people. This makes me wonder, where are they right now? Because anyone who understands how to overthrow a regime also knows that if this is true, it could be enough to organize and mobilize within the regime to overthrow the regime. So my question to him is, where are these people who signed 6 months ago, these defectors?
The 50,000 defectors that he spoke about. He does appear to have support within Iran, within the protest movement. There have been videos online of people calling for the return of the Shah. It does seem to be in some areas of Iran and not others. How do you explain that?
Within the Iranian public debate and political debate, there are many of those videos that have been actually exposed to be edited, which is very unfortunate because that's stealing people's voices. With that said, it's true that within these protests there are some smaller groups who chant his name or his father's name as a because they know that the regime will hate that. So it's more of an anger than in fact his return to Iran. Does he have support? Yes, of course he have, but we actually don't know how big this is. But from our understanding and analyze of Iran it's a small group of people who believes that he could be one of those who could lead the transition, but not him alone, unfortunately.
What about outside support? Should the United States, Europe and Israel be doing more to help the protesters, or is it best that they stay out of it?
No, of course. The West has to support the people inside of Iran. They need to empower the people of Iran to end the regime themselves. Those who have been Western allies should be fully supported to take that fight from within Iran. After nearly 50 years of suffering, the only rightful winners must be the people and not others. But this means, how can they do that? Well, as I mentioned, supporting the allies of the West who are inside of Iran and outside of Iran, and also freezing the regime assets, recalling their so-called diplomats, shut down embassies, institutions, and their Shia Islamic mosque, ending their negotiation, ending business as usual. This should be a total stop of speaking to Islamic Republic, isolating them.
Gina, Victoria Dawabi, great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.